Welcome to OnCore Live. I'm your host, Robin Bell, and we've got some great interviews coming up for you today. Now, for those of you joining us for the first time, you might be wondering, what is OnCore Live all about? OnCore Live brings industry leaders and Avery Dennison experts together in an engaging, live format to serve your customers with insights and services that will help you grow your business. We're going to begin this webisode with Joe Tossi, Board President of the Pressure Sensitive Tape Council, or PSTC. Joe's here to share the organization's mission and vision, as well as insights into our industry's overall health. He's also going to provide information about activity in emerging business segments and organization membership. So with that, let me say welcome to OnCore Live, Joe. Very happy that you could be with us here today.
Thank you, Robin. It's great to be here. And for everyone who's listening, I apologize. We had technical difficulties. I could not get my camera to turn on. For some of you, that may be a blessing. For me, it's a disappointment because I did actually shave and put on a sport coat just for this presentation.
So you're looking good. We'll take your word for it. But we've got that great picture of you, Joe. So here's a question for you. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself and about PSTC?
Sure. I'll start with myself. My name is Joe Tossi. My full-time job is I work for Intertape Polymer Corporation, which many of you may have heard of. I am our Senior Vice President of Global Sourcing and Supply Chain, and I've been with Intertape for about 16 and a half years now. My part-time job is I am the president of the Pressure Sensitive Tape Council, which is, we like to consider ourselves an influential North American trade association, and we're made up of the largest tape manufacturers and some of our key suppliers. So altogether, we have about 50 members between manufacturers and our key suppliers. Our purpose is really to be first and top of mind in the industry when it comes to education, training, test methods, and regulation for all pressure sensitive tapes. But the one thing that almost 50 members all have in common is we have a shared objective, which is to drive increases in the global use and sale of tape products. So in short, our common message is we want people thinking about tape and using tape.
So let's go and talk specifically about a couple of these values that you've got here that PSTC offers, and we'll start with education. In what way has PSTC worked to grow the industry through education?
It's been a really big evolution. If you go back many years, it used to be that some of the large tape manufacturers all did their own training and development and education in-house, but through the combination of some acquisitions, some downsize and consolidation within the industry, we found it was really a need that really wasn't being fulfilled. So especially for some of our smaller members. So it really started with us putting together really just some fundamentals courses and then some advanced classes as well. But it's grown even more since then. We have now what we refer to as Tape Academy, which is one of the leading venues of pressure sensitive adhesives tape education. And yes, it's really made up of a combination of on-demand courses, and there's also live and in-person courses. Recently, we've gotten into more specific markets. 2 years ago, we were focusing on building and construction, which we view as a huge growth market for tapes. And our next focus is going to be the automotive industry. The most recent addition that we've made to that is we've started kind of a monthly webinar series, and it really hits on a variety of topics, which is interesting to see because when you look at our member companies, 1 month you may have all of your research and development people who call in, and the next month sometimes it's finance and human resources people, because the topics of those webinars will range. Sometimes it will be regarding regulatory information. Sometimes it will be a political discussion. We had one shortly after the 2020 election to just talk about the changing landscape of politics. And other times it will be technical papers or financial in nature, economic in nature. So it's always evolving.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. So there's lots of information and learning opportunities for your members. So why don't we talk a little bit about networking opportunities? In addition to virtual events, live events, they're starting to open up as well as some hybrid versions. What event plans does PSTC have that are coming up?
So our next event, and knock on wood, we are hoping will still be live. It is November 9th through 11th, where we will be having our fall membership meeting. We'll be down in Bonita Springs, Florida. So just as the weather's starting to turn for some parts of the country, we'll be getting together down in South Florida. Our fall membership meeting tends to be a little bit smaller and more intimate. You often have a more senior level management from our member companies who come. Our big meeting is always in the spring. It's what we are now calling Tape Week. And this past year was, I'm sorry, actually 2020 was supposed to be the first and original Tape Week. Unfortunately, that got pushed, as did 2021. But in 2022, we hope we'll be back live for Tape Week. That'll be in Orlando. And really, Tape Week is an opportunity to network with other people within the industry, on both the manufacturing side and on the supplier side. But it's also a great opportunity for technical knowledge or application knowledge as well, as we do a lot of tracks related to technical skills and education as well.
So that sounds like a great event. Actually, both of those, Tape Week and your fall meeting that's coming up. Quickly, the fall meeting, we know that things are going a little crazy right now, but will you have a hybrid version of this for those that can't travel? Will you have both offered?
No, right now we are only going to go with the live option. We are, we'll make a final decision on that within the next couple of weeks, but we feel pretty confident that we have the right social distancing, the right protocols in place to be able to do it in a live environment. We have a lot of the events that, some of the networking events, the meals will all take place outside. While we're inside, we will wear masks and we will be socially distanced. We've gotten a large enough ballroom that we can spread people out and still maintain that social distancing and make sure that people feel very safe while they're there.
Yep, safety while being able to network, two key components. So before we go, would you share some of the other benefits of the PSTC membership?
Oh yeah, sure. And this wheel really does a nice job of laying it out for you. And that is ultimately, that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that we are always driving value to our members. So we talked a little bit about education. We talked a little bit about networking, but advocacy is a very large issue. When you think about government regulation, it's really important that we do two things here. Number one, it's very important that we are aware of what's going on, and so that we can communicate that to our members. And again, for a lot of our smaller members, this is really important. Some of us, some of us within the manufacturing group or large companies, we do some of this stuff in-house. But a lot of our smaller members do not. So it's really important that we're able to let them know what's coming down the path from a regulation or an EH&S standpoint. And then the other thing is, there will be times that we would like to challenge it. And if we believe that it's important to challenge some of the regulation, we will often do that as a group rather than as individual companies. On the resources side, a lot of time is spent here talking collaboratively about how we grow the industry. And a lot of that falls under leadership as well. It is really important as we move forward as an organization and as an industry, that we're always thinking about growth, and how do we really, instead of thinking of it as how do we each get a fair share of the pie, the thought process is how do we make the pie bigger so that we can all enjoy it.
Well, I think that's great. So you're talking about including converters in with suppliers and manufacturers to open this all up for PSTC. enriching the experience for everybody.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to talk to this group about. When PSTC started, it was just the tape manufacturers. And then as we realized that, how important it was that we grow the industry, we realized that our suppliers were really important to us, and that they had some thoughts on how that could happen. That was probably 15 years ago that we added the suppliers into the membership pool. And now we're at the point that we're saying, we like the trajectory that we're on. We like the growth that we're seeing as an industry, but we want to make sure that we're continuing that thought process. And when you think about who is really important to each of us as tape manufacturers, and who probably has that shared vision and shared message of wanting to grow, and may have a need for some of that, technical knowledge and education, it's the converters. Every single, there's about 28 manufacturers that make up PSTC. The others are suppliers, but every one of them has relationships with converters. We all view them as being very strategic to our business. So if we're going to be thinking collaboratively about how we grow and where we grow, we just think converters are the right place to go. But we view that conversation as being a two-way street. Just because we think that they would want to have a seat at the table, and we don't want to jump to any conclusion. So we would love to hear from some of the converters as to whether or not they see value in being part of PSTC as well.
Well, it's a very robust community, and it seems to me it's a good opportunity for converters to be a part of this organization. Joe, I want to say thank you. This is really great. I'm certain that you piqued the interest of our audience here today. To learn more about PSTC, visit pstc.org. It's on the screen right now if you want to take a moment to copy that down. Thank you, Joe. This was great.
Thanks, Robin.